01 Studio Cell, formerly known as Zeta Toys Core Star, before Big Bad Hasbro dropped the hammer. But to be fair, it was kinda dumb to promote a third-party figure during HasLab's official Unicron campaign. The balls on these guys. But a lot of Transformers fans, including myself, were disappointed. Rest in peace, Zeta Toys Core Star. Core Star had some promise. So after many agonizing months of waiting and a socially insensitive rebranding, was this cheaper, seemingly superior alternative worth the wait? Hey, my name is Jobby, and yeah! Link in the description if you want to get in on this, but fair warning, this video was not sponsored, so I had to pay for it myself, and there are no discounts. Good luck. Still cheaper than MP44. With all that being said, I hate this box. I understand the attempt to dodge the C and D, but did they really have to go in such a baby toy direction? What am I, a kid with a YouTube channel whose parents only love him because of money? Out of the box, you get some spikes that are attached to runners, which you do have to assemble yourself, and a baggie of screw hole covers that you also have to assemble yourself. Unfortunately, the placement of these components is not included in these honestly shitty instructions. So I gotta give a big shout out to the TFW forums for helping me with that. And Zeta Toys, I mean 01 Studio, was so desperate to avoid the Hasbro heel that they included some core components in a separate box. Some ratcheted ramen noodles, and of course a beautifully sculpted head. Don't worry, this box is included with every purchase. And with all that attached, this is obviously the Chaos Bringer himself, Unicron. And if you don't know why Unicron is such a big deal, this horny devil was the main antagonist of Transformers the movie, the one from the 80s, you know, the good one. And he's also notable because he was the final role of acclaimed actor and director Orson Welles. An artistic, prolific, monumental career capped off with a toy commercial. I wonder what Orson Welles would have thought about being immortalized by a giant, planet-eating robot. He would have died sooner. Now, if you've been with me on this channel for a while, first of all, thank you and thanks for your patience. You'd know that we've taken a look at some big boys. But Cell here has got to be the biggest boy. Only second to my dad. But despite the figure's undeniable presence, I have seen some people complain about the size. Not that it's too big and you can't really display it practically anywhere. That I would understand. No, the complaints that I've seen is that it ain't big enough. Which is at first ridiculous, but after thinking about it, I kinda get it. I mean, Unicron is literally a planet-sized transformer, and this guy is not gonna be bigger than some third-party combiners. So yeah, I understand that criticism, and I'm just gonna put this down because this thing's actually kind of heavy. But to that criticism, it doesn't fucking matter. I mean, no matter how big they made a Unicron toy, it will never be exactly to scale. In order for a Unicron toy to be in scale with Masterpiece-style Transformers, he'd have to be the size of Orson Welles. Not even the official Hasbro Unicron is gonna be to scale, and that's gonna be way bigger. So much so that it needs medical support to even stand up. Like Orson Welles. I'm roasting a dead guy, how brave of me. But putting scale aside, as a standalone piece, I have to say, 01 Studio Cell is the Citizen Kane of Unicron toys. This is the Unicron toy of my dreams. He's got just enough mechanical detailing to replicate almost exactly his on-screen appearance, as opposed to an overly panel-lined chug. The sculpting is borderline perfect, so beautiful, but the colors are a bit off. This bright blue and orange combination is more accurate to the poster than the actual film. Even though I have many praises to sing, the colors are definitely disappointing. It should have looked more like this Digibash. Amazing. If this guy sells enough copies and they come out with a recolor, I just might buy it. At this point, I don't care anymore. But let's get back to the good stuff, huh? The proportions are on point. The anime-like proportions and the saturated colors are actually in line with Takara's current MP line. But unlike Takara's official offerings, clean ass back. Which at first seemed like a cop-out. I had to double check if the back of the animation model was the same as the front. And yeah, you could even say that back. I ain't gonna say, that shit almost got me canceled. Needless to say, it's completely mind-boggling that this guy is gonna turn into a ball, and that lovingly animation-accurate head sculpt is easily removable, just like the film. You could just hear that commanding yet somehow phoned-in performance by Orson Welles come out of his articulated mouth. And the metallic green eyes is a great look, but if we look at this button at the back of the head, it gets better. This light-up feature requires 2 LR44 batteries, not included. And what else can I say but, for me daddy? The top of the head also lights up. Looks kind of silly right now, but it'll look better later. Not to be too nitpicky, but wouldn't it have been cool if his abs also lit up? Put your weed in there. I've gone on and on about the figure's looks, but that don't mean diddly squat unless I want to actually pick up the thing and play with it. Are the joints solid enough to hold up the weight of this gigantic robotic demon? Oh, yes. Despite the bright colors, the painting here is very minimal, so he's just asking to be hand-handled, especially with these, ratchet joints. And the minimal painting's gonna guarantee that you don't chip anything while posing it. Even the goddamn waist joint, delightful. And not only that, there are so many joints on this figure, more than I expected for a guy of this size. Individually articulated fingers, the works. A big reason why this figure is so damn heavy is not only because of the sheer amount of plastic here. Many of the ratchet joints are constructed of a sturdy die-cast metal, which allows him to hold a satisfying variety of poses. No medical assistance required. So manhandle to your heart's content until you cause a stress mark. This gnarly little crack could have easily been avoided if I were just a bit more gentle during the transformation. Go nuts with the posability, but when it comes to transforming this guy, be gentle yet firm. Like my dick. On that topic, make sure you get a good stretch because the transformation here is gonna be a bit of a workout. But physical exertion is but a small price to pay for some brilliant engineering. This thing is out of this world. Get it? Because he's a planet. That's fucking lame. Why the hell? And since the back's the same as the front, same thing on the other side. As indicated by this little seam here, we're gonna have to pull that whole assembly up. But because of the weight and sheer size of this thing, don't even try. So what I like to do, get a good hold of that section you want to pull up and push down on the head. And let gravity and your muscles do the work. Might have lost 10 pounds there. And before I forget, on his taint. And once you got both legs transformed the same way, because they're the same process, you want to fold the legs up so that these parts clip into here. My recommendation is to bend the hip joints up as far as they can go, and then collapse the calf, but then this stuff gets in the way, and there's just gonna be a lot of bending and flexing. I hope the materials here can handle the heat. All the same things on the other side, of course. And here we have the cell mode. Fuck off. The very thought of you feels like fantasy. Close my eyes, you remain close to me. When you're in my arms, my sorrow disappears. Truth I know is what you wanna hear. You'll find I'm glad to say that love has dispersed from my mind through my soul to my heart. It is very clear I'll always need you here, ember of a fire that'll start. You also get these tabs that flip out and are supposed to lock into place, but I don't think that's gonna be necessary. Once you get these things attached, pulling them apart is a huge issue. Gentle but firm. Jesus Christ, that thing's not gonna last for much longer. After a physically demanding yet intuitive transformation, we get the Death Star with a digestive tract. Black magic is an understatement. Zeta Toys Hero 1 Studio found some way to compress and inflate the robot mode without logging into DeviantArt. Even after doing it with my own hands, it's still so hard to believe that that perfectly proportioned robot mode turns into this practically perfect ball. And without the robot mode having a backpack. How is this possible when at the same time Takara can't even figure out how to do an animation-accurate Optimus Prime without giving him a backpack, and with the truck parts being right there? Ah! The robot mode completely disappears in the planet mode. There's a whole new world of details, literally. From sculpted-in towers to detailed trenches. If anything actually lived on this planet, it must be hellish. But it can't be worse than this. But once you open his mouth, the illusion is unfortunately broken. And this is why you get a couple of extra parts. You might have already noticed that a couple of these is holding up the planet mode, but you can take the other one and plug it right into the front in a questionable case of parts forming. Would you consider this parts forming when the planet mode actually does have a mouth? I'm not gonna bother, we'll just call it an alternate face. You also get the option of plugging in these planet mouth parts into the shoulders of the robot mode, but that was more for Zeta Toys to commit intellectual theft. It looks fucking dumb. With that alternate face attached, the planet mode is borderline perfect. Again, the only thing holding it back is the color scheme, and not just for the reasons I've already stated. The back of the planet is... While it's not too big of a deal for me... Fuck, it's ugly. You do get some alternate parts that will fix this color mismatch, but at the cost of having blue robot arms and blue shoulders, which is... I'm gonna prioritize the robot mode. Swapping out those parts also looks like kind of a bitch. I am perfectly willing to hold this L, and wow. It's just as heavy as the robot mode as you expect, but more compressed. There's something about the weight to size ratio that makes this super satisfying to hold. It's almost like holding a melon or a human head. Don't ask me how I know that. And the summer days, they will fade away, ever in my memory. No empty space since you claimed your place with me.